Good afternoon. I am Robin Edwards, and I serve as the Senior Program Manager with the National Black MBA Association. National Black MBA Association launched the Scale Up Pitch Challenge in 2017, which works to satisfy the mission of the association, which is to help create, support wealth building opportunities for our members. Previous winners have experienced great successes with investors due to exposure and funding provided through this challenge. This challenge is a pitch competition designed to make big ideas bigger by encouraging our members to create startups that are scalable. Scale provides startups the unique opportunity to connect with other entrepreneurs, early stage investors, and venture capitalists who are ready to invest. National Black is hosting this Scale Up Winners Circle series. This series will showcase past Scale Up winners. You will have the opportunity to hear firsthand from Scale Up winners, their journey to entrepreneurship, and gain great insight on how they position themselves in their businesses for success. Today, we are speaking with one of 2022 Scale Up Pitch Challenge winners, Dr. Cynthia Cancu, founder and CEO of Dr. Kinks. Dr. Kanks is a cardiovascular scientist who is passionate about hair. She obtained her PhD in biomedical sciences in 2019 and was offered a job as a postdoctoral scientist at UVA. In May 2021, Cynthia officially launched Dr. Kinks, a brand dedicated to empowering women by helping to enhance their natural beauty by treating their hair and skin. Dr. Kank uses organic and plant-based cosmetics. She started formulating hair products in 2016 and used her background in chemistry to develop hair products that are specific to different porosity levels. She specializes in the formulation of plant-based products, helping individuals with hair, dry skin, eczema, and hyperpigmentation. Welcome, Cynthia. We are super excited to speak with you and hear more about Dr. Kanks as well as the person behind the business. But before we get started, please note that towards the end of this interview, we will be taking questions from the audience. So feel free to put your questions in the chat or in the comments section. So welcome again, Cynthia. I've read a little bit about your bio and about your business. Can you tell us a little bit more about your business and yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. I'm from Cameroon. I grew up in Cameroon and moved to Belgium when I was 15 and a half to study. I did biomedical sciences and I specialized in cardiovascular sciences. And after graduating, I got a job at UVA. That's how I ended up in the States. And when I was still studying, actually, I knew that I wanted to have a side hustle. So I actually started a business when I was in Belgium. And when I went to UVA and I had enough money, that's when I was able to properly launch my business. But I guess we're talking about that more in the next question. But yeah, this is who I am.
Great. Thank you so much. And talking about taking a side hustle to a business, great job. So what are some of the major influences motivated you to start Dr. Kanks?
Yeah, so I need to say that I'm from the Bamileke tribe of Cameroon, and I think that people, if you know that tribe, we are people who are in business. We do business. We're known to be frugal people. We don't spend money, but we do business. So when I started my PhD, I finally, after so many years, I finally had a stipend. And I was like, I know, research doesn't pay. I need a side hustle. I need something. So, and to be very honest with you, when I started my side hustle back then, I wasn't making hair products. At that time, I wasn't actually wearing my hair natural. I hated my hair. I was constantly wearing wigs. It was like the struggle was so real that days when I wouldn't have my wig on and people would come on and out of my house, I'll have panic attack. So when I knew that I needed, a side hustle, I decided to start selling wigs. So that's what I was doing. I created a Facebook page in 2015 called Kank Store, and I was selling wigs. And after a year, I was actually introduced to the Pan-Africanism movement, which is all about Black excellence and stuff like that. And I was attending those movements, and all the people there were so proud of every part of their Blackness, you know. And that's when I actually started realizing that I've been brainwashed into thinking that my hair wasn't, you know, good. My hair wasn't pretty. My big afro wasn't nice. And I'm not talking about, you know, wearing wigs just because you want to change your hairstyle, which I still do now. I'm talking about really feeling ashamed of your hair, never showing your hair out, you know. And it's only when I was introduced to that movement that I realized that, oh my gosh, you know, something is wrong with the way I think. So it became a journey, started formulating products. And what I was doing at that time is I was obsessed with curly hair. I was ready to stop wearing wigs, but I wanted to wear my hair natural only if it was curly. I wanted the perfect curls, you know. So, and I was using gels that would leave my hair very dry and dehydrated. So I decided to make my own, you know, curly cream that could define my curls without leaving my hair dry. That's how I started this whole journey.
That is great. I tell you, the struggle is real. The struggle is real with women, but Black, specifically Black women in our hair, right? And there are so many different hair care products out there that, you know, when you go to the beauty supply store, you don't know where to start. There's so many hair products out there. So what makes Dr. King's different? What makes people say, I should go on the website and I should go to Dr. King's because that is going to be the best thing for my hair to keep it beautiful, to keep it healthy. So why Dr. King's?
It's the first thing is the science, you know. When I was still studying and I made my first product, I realized I call it the curly cream, make it with flaxseed. And at that time, I would give free samples to all the girls buying wigs from me. And at first, I got a lot of positive feedback saying, "Oh, it works." And then women with low porosity hair started reaching out to me saying that, "Oh, something's off with that cream. It doesn't penetrate my hair. It leaves white particle, and my hair, you know, it leaves my hair tough and dull and brittle." And that's where I realized at that time, I actually didn't know what porosity was. They didn't know either. They just say the product doesn't penetrate. So I started researching and really digging into the chemistry behind hair. And I realized that, you know, your hair each strand of hair has what is called cuticles. And those cuticles can be lifted up or open, or they can be very, very tight. So porosity determines how easily your hair absorbs water. Low porosity hair, for instance, have cuticles that are very tight. So whenever they use water or the wrong hydrating products, those products have a hard time penetrating their hair. It just sit at the surface. And high porosity hair is the opposite. It soaks water super quickly, but it also air dries super quickly because those cuticles are often open. And they can be in between, which is medium porosity. So when I realized that, it made a whole difference because I was able to have real testimonial for women who've tried the products and it didn't work, and they tried a different formulation, and we saw a different curl pattern, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Well, that's the science. And then the second thing is, I am so proud to say that I use only less than 3 synthetic ingredients, no unnecessary synthetic ingredients in my products. And I research all the, you know, the herbs, all the plant-derived ingredients that you can find, all the plant-derived ingredients that you can find and incorporate them in those products. No sulfates, no parabens, no phthalates, and it makes a huge difference because a lot of people don't know that research are showing that more than 10,000 toxins linked to diseases such as cancer, fibroids, you know, are triggered by ingredients that we found in our beauty products. And it's not only about relaxers, because now we are aware of relaxers being toxic, but, you know, deodorants, creams, really natural things that we use, not natural things, but products that we use every day on a daily basis that are actually causing problems. So, yeah.
Great. And I know that you have a short video that you wanted to kind of show that kind of outlines what that porosity is, because I remember hearing when I listened to your pitch at the Scale Up Pitch Competition, I was like, porosity, what is that? So you did a great job at explaining what that is. So if you can pull up that video of that kind of short animation of what porosity is, that would be great. Okay, until she gets that ready, let's keep moving on. So Scale Up, you were a winner, one of the winners with our past Scale Up, which was a really exciting opportunity for you and the rest of the Scale Up winners. So tell me a little bit about how did that impact your business? Okay,
Oh,
we're going to
here
go
we
back to
go.
that question because we got to get Ferocity up, so we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yes. So this shows a hair strand, your hair shaft, the outer layer, those are the cuticles, and you can see that they actually opening. And low porosity hair, wrong products will simply accumulate. But this is what my products do. The first product lift up those cuticles, the second product penetrate in your hair, and the third product seal the moisture. So everything that has penetrated inside will take a longer period of time to evaporate. So your hair will remain moisturized for a longer period of time using this 3-step system.
Great, awesome, great animation. So to go back to the question, how did Scale Up impact your business? How did it impact your network? What kind of experience did you gain from Scale Up that really helped to push your business forward?
So Scale Up impacted me on different level. I know when you're talking about money, it wasn't only about money for me, honestly. But it's even just imposter syndrome. Scale Up was the first big pitch competition that I did, and for the longest time, I was still struggling with imposter syndrome. So being selected as a finalist was a huge, it was a huge achievement because it made me realize that what I'm doing matters. It might not be what's popular right now, because even when you talk to venture capitalists, they'll tell you they don't invest right now in CPG products, So being part of that competition and realizing that what I do matter, it really triggered something in me. When I left Atlanta that weekend, I wasn't the same girl who came being really shy, when I have to talk about my business in front of potential investors. I left being somebody who was like, oh my gosh, first of all, I never introduced myself as being Dr. Cynthia Colque, but then that day or that week, I had so many people calling me Dr. Cakes, Dr. Cakes. I was like, no, for real. I went to the airport and somebody said, isn't Dr. Cakes there? And I was, oh my gosh, I feel like a celebrity. So when I left Atlanta, I really and this was something really big because, your mindset is everything. You need to be in that position where you are proud of everything that you're doing. So this was the number one thing that I gained from, the competition, being in front of so many people and pitching my idea and being able to answer those questions. I realized that, oh my gosh, I'm killing it, So I came back feeling that, and I was bold. Of course, the money helped.
Yes.
I was able to move into a warehouse and to hire my first part-time employee, and yeah, the mindset was there, and I was ready. I got great connection, with the other also contestant. We stayed in touch. We share resources together, whether it's accelerator programs or grants. My network has been really good at even being able to have an interview or a meeting actually with one of the jury member who is a venture capitalist. So it was a great experience for me. It was
Great.
really good.
That is awesome. I heard so many things, Cynthia. I heard that it's not just about the money, right? The money is great. Of course, we all need money to grow our business, but just the other opportunities, the relationships that were formed, with your colleagues, as far as the other Scale Up applicants, the judges that were there, those relationships, your network has grown because of this. But you mentioned something about the imposter syndrome, right? So I remember speaking with you at Scale Up, and you were your energy is contagious, right? You want to laugh, and once people it's just contagious. And honestly, I couldn't tell that you felt that way, so that you're doing a great job. And it really does go down to your mindset.
Thank you. And the thing with Scale Up is that it's so many different industries. If you're pitching where it's only beauty, you feel different because you're like, okay, we're all doing the same thing. But honestly, like when I was looking at everybody else, I had my favorite, we were
Mhm.
10 finalists. I had my favorite. I wasn't my own favorite.
Mhm.
So, and I was looking at all those people doing great things, but they were not in my industry. So at some point I was like, does it really matter what I'm doing? And yeah, that you have that imposter syndrome that comes back and
Mhm.
makes you feel doubt a little bit,
Mhm.
because I'm not doing tech, and everybody is into tech right now. So, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm a scientist, but I don't do that type of science anymore. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I crazy?
No,
So
you're
yeah.
not crazy. One of the things you mentioned were the questions. When I think back to Scale Up, I think about the presentation that you have. You have like 5 minutes to present, but it's the questions, right? It's the questions from the judges that really hones in on, does this person really know their business? Do they know their market, right? So it's those judges. So thinking about, that the Q&A portion of Scale Up, what is a key learning that you received from Scale Up that you would pass to potential applicants?
I would say that I know everybody who starts a business thinks that his idea is great, but
Mhm.
you gotta be mentally prepared to face people who will tell you that it's not great. You gotta be mentally prepared to face people who will tell you that the industry where you're going is saturated, you know, and what sets you apart. And I think it's very important because especially when you just start, you're so motivated and excited, and it can be devastating because from the jury part, I think I did really good at answering the questions and all that was really comfortable. But I also know that some people had doubt because, as you said, this industry is very saturated. Why do you think that you'll be the next one who will be successful? And you really got to believe in what you're doing, but also do your research and
Mhm.
understand what sets you apart from your competitors. It's
Mhm.
very important. Just saying that I have a good product is not enough. You got to know what's going on right now, what's trending, and how you can make a difference. And
Mhm.
then the second thing, and this is from somebody that I took actually. So after that day, somebody who was actually in the crowd, he reached out to me. We met at a party that night, and then he said, "I was very hooked at first when you started presenting, till I realized that what you do is hair care." He said that in my face. And so you will face people like that,
Mhm. Mhm.
and you got to be mentally prepared,
Yeah.
face stuff like that.
Definitely, definitely. You're gonna have those naysayers, right? Those people think, oh, that's not gonna go anywhere because, like we said earlier, that it is saturated, with hair care products. But you have to find that niche. What sets you apart from everyone else, right? And I think that you found that, right? And I see the passion. I see the passion in your business. Would you say that passion led to Dr. Kanks, or was it more of a mixture of passion and a need?
Oh, I'm going to be totally honest. At first, it was a need. I'm telling you, when I launched that, I created that Facebook page that I called Kang Store at first. It was like I knew that girl because I loved research and I wanted to work
Mhm.
not for a pharmaceutical company, but I wanted to work for a university. So I knew I wasn't going to have money. I was like,
Mhm.
girl, you're not going to have money. So I needed a side hustle. But then
Mhm.
when it comes to hair, it's definitely passion. Because since I started hair care products, I also launched skincare. And every single skincare product that I put on the market, I created them because somebody asked, you
Yep.
know.
Mhm.
So it's something that I love, I'm passionate about. For me, it's like cooking, experimenting and coming up with something that will help somebody else. I'm very happy. Like the next time I'm pitching about this new revolutionary product that is actually going to defeat steroids. I've had women approaching me about scalp inflammation, for instance, asking if they can use my herbal oil. And I was very honest and I said, no, this product with what you're describing, the symptoms that you're describing, is not going to work. But let me research and come up with something specific for you. So that's how I'm passionate about. And I've been able actually to formulate something that has decreased inflammation, skin and scalp inflammation on patients that were taking steroids and never saw any effects. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
passion.
It's passion. And, and beauty is never going to go out of style, right? We're always looking for ways to make ourselves look better. So the more things, the better, and coming up with something that sets yourself apart is great. So I just want to remind the audience and those who are viewing, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. Dr. Kanks is here to answer any questions you may have about her personal journey as an entrepreneur, about her business, how she got started. So ask away. Okay. So my next question is, what is one piece of advice you would give to an entrepreneur who is just starting just starting their business or is trying to scale their business?
Okay, let's start with starting your business. I think when you start, your mindset is already right because you haven't faced that many challenges, so it's okay. So you're okay. But for somebody starting, honestly, especially in my industry, I'll say if you can try to join an accelerator program, that will be great because you'll get all the guidance that you need from the beginning, and you won't have to struggle so much, trying to find everything on your own. Now, if you don't have the possibility to join an accelerator program, I'll say start with whatever means that you have, because you are going to make mistakes, and it also falls with scaling up. And I wish I knew that before starting scaling up, is that the business model that you have when it's just you and you have one thing going on is not going to be the same when you start to scale up. For me, for instance, how my business model for the longest time was business to consumer, and I was targeting women at different farmers markets. It was mostly me. I had 2 other girls who were working. And when I was looking at my sales, I was like, okay, so I know exactly how much money I make when I go to the farmers market. If I do next year 10 other farmers market, I'm going to make this times 10. It's a no. Because what's happened is that when you're scaling up, it's not only you who is going to work, right? The first thing that I faced was employee. People, even just finding people who work. It's not guaranteed that you're going to find people who want to work and then find people who want to work the right way. You're going to face so many challenges as you start, especially if you're on a budget. If you have enough, resources, it means that you can even hire a third party to do your production. You can have experts who know all the things that you're going to face and who can actually tell you, oh, here's where you're going to make mistakes and all that. But if you're on a budget like me, you're going to make mistakes, and it's better for you to make mistakes on a smaller scale than a bigger scale, So, yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I heard you say was, trying to do things by yourself, right? We try to do things alone, and we don't want to. Well, it's not that we don't want to. We may not know where to get that help, right? So how important is it to have, we know in our careers, in our professional careers, we want to have mentors and sponsors and coaches. How important is it to have that as an entrepreneur?
Oh, I think it's very, very important. Because look, for instance, my background is science. It's not business. So did I know about how to write your cash flow? No, it's actually my mentor who taught me about that. And he was so I can talk about him all day the same way I can talk about scale out, as that he'll see things that I haven't seen. He will forecast everything. And I remember at first, he was always talking about positive cash flow and all those things. And I was like, wait a minute. I mean, why are you stressing me out with things like that? But it's way easier to, create all your processes on a smaller scale than, trying to create everything when everything is already big. Too many mistakes and too many variables. Yeah. So I will always recommend people to have coaches, mentors, somebody who's been there, who can just navigate, with you, or even somebody who can just cheer you up, because things are not going to be easy. And you need that person who can speak life into your business.
Okay. And speaking of Scale Up, we have a question from the audience. They said, how did you learn about the Scale Up Pitch Challenge?
School.
School. Okay.
I was an MBA candidate, and one of my professor said, "Oh, Cynthia, you know what? There is actually the National Black MBA Association. I'm part of that. They have a chapter in your city, and there is a competition coming soon." So that's how I heard about it.
Yeah.
And it's a very good question because before that, I had no idea about all the resources that were there. You know, all the pitch competition, all the grants, all the accelerator programs. So you got to make sure that your network is on point because you can hear about those things. Otherwise, you will be like me, you know,
Not knowing. That is
not
so
knowing.
true.
Mm-hmm.
That is so true. That kind of lends what you just said about your network to the next question, actually. And the next question is, what is the difference between a mentor and a sponsor? And should they prioritize one over the other?
I think the mentor is really a person that stays with you, you know, throughout your journey.
Mm-hmm.
You have easy access to that person,
Mm-hmm.
you know. A sponsor, I think it's probably, I'm not sure, somebody who can invest, or it's just that like I'm not sure. Robin, can you answer that question? Because to me, a
Um,
sponsor is somebody who will be investing.
Yeah, so a sponsor would be in this realm of coaching or in career development professional is that person that's speaking for you when you're not in the room, right? So
Mm,
that person that really kind of has your back, that person that can say, I know, Cynthia, and I know that she would be a great person to do this particular project. Or so really a person that speaks for you when you're not in the room,
mm,
right? That person that can really take you to help you take your career to that next level.
got it.
Yeah. So what piece of advice would you give to a person that wants to start a business, but they're afraid to start a business? They have a side hustle. I heard you earlier, talking about, Dr. Kinks was a side hustle at first. And they want to go further, but they're like, I don't know if I should. Maybe I should just keep this a side hustle. What's some advice? What is a couple of pieces of advice that you would give to that person?
You know how they say when you know, you know. I really feel that it's like this because honestly, even when I started, right, when I was still playing around with my wigs and then giving free samples to people, people started asking me to sell products,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how I started selling. But it wasn't something big because I was doing everything from my, dorm room and stuff, and I loved it because I got my comfort. I didn't have to manufacture big amount. I didn't have to think about anything because it was my side hustle. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
pay my bills. Then I started working and I was able to save after a year of working and to really like launch the business, create the website, buy everything in bulk and everything, operating from my garage this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to keep the side hustle and my job as long as I could. I really wanted. I would wake up super early at 4 a.m. and I'll go to work. I work from 4 a.m. to 6 on Kinks. And then I go to work, finish work, take care a little bit of my baby because I have a 4-year-old now, and then go to sleep at midnight. I didn't know, like, I wanted to do that as long as I could, but oh my gosh, it wasn't sustainable, So, I really wish that I had the courage to say, oh, now this is time I'm going to quit and do that. But that's not, that's actually not what happened.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't renew my contract. And what I heard was that they knew about Kinks. I still don't know what the story is, but they knew about Kinks and they were like, she's never going to be able to do both things at the same time. So they didn't renew my contract. So when that happened, I was like, oh God, maybe this is a sign, let me take 1 year off.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm able to, sustain and then pay all my bills and not have to go back to work, I'm not. But if I'm not after a year, I'm going back to work, and I still think that it's a good thing to be able to transition to your business being your full-time because it's not a joke anymore. You need to pay your bills. So you will do everything it takes,
Mm-hmm.
to pay those bills at the end of the month. I was champion giving free products to people all the time, like not even, counting what I was doing and stuff like that. I didn't care because I didn't need the money. But the moment it became my full time, I started thinking, being creative, thinking about, oh my gosh, how am I going to make that money? And I wouldn't have been able, for instance, because I launched on a budget. I didn't have a team. I didn't have nobody. I was doing farmers market. So I wouldn't have been able to drive all those long distance. I call myself a truck driver because, oh my God. First that year, I drove everywhere doing events and all those things. And I wouldn't have been able to do that. Would I have been working for somebody else? So it was a blessing in disguise, because I really had the flexibility to do everything that I needed to do. But yeah.
That's a lot, Cynthia. Wow. So for anyone who ever thought that being an entrepreneur is easy,
it's not.
So I have a question from someone, a really good question. Are there any techniques or attributes that you did in preparation that helped you stand out while pitching your business?
Yeah, I think really knowing everything that you're about to present. Don't put anything in your slides if you're not sure about how to answer, because they will ask that, like they will find a little thing that you put in there and ask a question about that. So I really made sure that first I knew exactly what I was saying. I didn't stutter. I didn't even need to look at my slide. I know what was the next thing. So it was very fluid, and I knew everything I was talking about. So it removes a certain level of stress when you know that you know everything, whether something is going to, power is going to go off or whatever, because you're always thinking about the worst scenario case. But knowing that I knew everything on my slides really helped. So I kind of rehearsed a lot, getting feedback from people, having random people asking you a question to kind of see, what kind of question you can get, especially that all the judges, they have different backgrounds. If you can actually, we didn't even know who the judges were. Too bad. No, but that's a good thing. If you can figure out who the
it's a very good thing. So what I'm hearing is prepare yourself, be prepared, right? No one should know your business better than you should do. So be prepared, make sure that you have everything that you need, make sure that you're able to articulate your business, know your audience, right? Know your audience and know who you're talking to when you talk about your business. So Cynthia, we are coming to the end of time, but I wanted to give you 30 seconds to just give us your last minute remarks about your business, about Scale Up and specifically.
Okay. About Scale Up, like I already said, it's something you want to do. It's not about winning. It's not about the money. It's really about the connection that you're going to make. And also, like me, for instance, if you're still struggling with imposter syndrome, once you stand up, in front of all those people there, and you realize that nobody knows your business better than you. It doesn't matter what somebody else think. You are the only one who knows your business. So you leave Atlanta that day feeling empowered, and you see all those amazing Black people also doing all those great things, people who look like you, and it just fooled me. I was like, oh, Black excellence everywhere, and then about my business, like I said, I'm passionate about what I do. It's definitely not about the money. You're going to get some great quality products. Whenever you shop, a Dr. King's product, you get something that is handmade with natural ingredients that is safe for your body, and that will make you feel good and be good.
Look and feel good.
Yes.
And feel good. So Cynthia, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story, to talk about your business, to share your experiences with Scale Up. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you wanted to learn more about Dr. Kanks, her website is scrolling down at the bottom. Please go to her website, take a look at all the wonderful products there. The Scale Up competition, the 2023 Scale Up competition, will be opening for application submissions on June the 16th. So be on the lookout. Definitely visit the National Black NBAA website to get more information. We will be putting information up there in the coming weeks. So thank you so much. Also, at the top of the screen, there is a QR code. please feel free to click on that QR code and fill out our survey and get a chance to win an Amazon gift card. So this concludes our Winner Circle Series Part 1, and we hope that you all enjoyed meeting our National Black MBAA Scale Up winner, and we'll see you next time on May 19th. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.